broadcast guys here in Seattle as our quadruple header continues from the Pacific Northwest in this matchup between 4 and 13 Louisville and the Anteaters from UC Irvine in the NCAA tournament for the first time ever. Northern Iowa awaiting the winner in that Sunday matchup in the round of 32.
A great experience for him, and of course Rick Pitino, years in the NBA as well, and his son Richard here in attendance today, coming in from Minnesota.
Plenty of family support for both of these coaches, both teams, as Louisville in white has possession, and we're underway here in Seattle. Again, the winner of this matchup advances to Sunday and will take on Northern Iowa. That is Harold. A little bit short on his first offer, and rebound by Nelson.
He's expanded his range since his freshman year, and he might be shooting that shot a little bit more with Njai in the middle of that lane. They really defend the rim at an elite level. Zone now for Louisville as well.
It's Will Davis, the best interior player, former Defensive Player of the Year in the Big West Conference. Good look at a three. Travis Souza, the senior, who can fill it up. California native puts the Anteaters on the board first.
Rick Pitino was really worried about that, and if UC Irvine is going to stay in this game, they're going to have to shoot the three extremely well.
Souza, a starter last year for just 2 games, started 32 for UCI this season. That's Snyder, the freshman point guard, bounce underneath to Harrell, swatted by Njai. They get it back, and then Harrell stuffs it in and stares down the 7'6" Njai.
And Njai laughing, and it's like the Space Needle is in the middle of that zone out there for him, but Harrell plays above the rim.
Well, you played against the late Manute Bol. Anyone who has not been in the presence of someone that large, you just can't understand the size of this young man, and we'll tell you about his backstory as the afternoon goes on.
And he's much heavier than Manute was. Just not only a tall presence, but a wide presence in the lane.
One of 7 or 3 7-footers that UCI boasts. There's a corner 3. That's Wayne Blackshear, and a pushing foul against Matt Viang underneath.
Well, this is it. He goes right at him, and Njai with the initial block, but Harrell, he's got a big-time motor. He really is the heart and soul of this team. Rick Pitino said their early exit from the ACC tournament gave him some time to rest both Rozier and Harrell.
And Pitino said he was able to give both of those players 2 full days of rest, something he hopes will be a huge difference against the Anteaters. Njai swallowed up immediately, and that'll be the second quick personal underneath against Matt Viang, the redshirt sophomore from Australia.
Look at that. I mean, it's just you just hope that he doesn't finish at the rim, and he does have trouble doing that.
Chinanu Onuaku, the freshman, will come in. Maryland native. This is Nelson, long 2. That's good. And that looks like they'll change it to a 3-point shot. Initially said 2. It is a 3-pointer for Nelson. 6-2 Anteaters.
This guy in Blackshear, I think, is the one who's going to be kind of the X factor for this team. He's their leading 3-point shooter.
Rozier up top, finding Harrell for the alley-oop jam.
That's how you play against this zone, and Louisville likes to throw over the top that time. Njai pulled a little bit up the lane.
Nelson goes cross court. Young resets. Still plenty of time to shoot. This is Davis. Arrow clears with just over 3 minutes gone by in a 2-point game.
Well, Will Davis benefiting from Njai's presence because he goes back to his natural power forward position.
Arrow trying to go touch feed to Onuaku, who's not prepared. Cardinals turn it over.
Let's see early on the stamina of Njai, how long he can stay on the floor. Louisville's bigs will try to run him, get some easy baskets in transition.
Harrell quickly converges on Davis. Anteaters patient. 13 on the 35. This is Young. Shoots over Harrell. Got it!
And Rick Pitino needs a timeout here early.
UC Irvine, first ever trip to the dance looking anything but intimidated. Early 4-point lead on TBS. In Seattle, 4-point lead for UCI as we welcome in Jamie Maggio. Jamie?
Hey, Spiro, thank you. Well, here's a story we didn't see coming. Back in the late 1970s, a 9-year-old boy was playing in a park in North Carolina. He spotted an All-American from Duke and decided to go approach him and see if they could talk hoops for a minute. Well, they did. And that conversation continued yesterday when Coach Russell Turner approached our Mike Jaminski and said, I don't know if you remember talking to me when I was a kid, but that was a moment I will never forget, and I just wanted to thank you. Well, Coach Turner, so elated when he saw that Mike was calling the game today, he couldn't wait to tell his mom, who's a Duke alum, and also brought him to the park that day 3 decades ago. Guys?
Jamie, that was my favorite part of yesterday. We had a chance to visit with all the teams and the coaches, and Mike, you were visibly kind of moved by that.
I was completely taken aback, and as his mom a Duke grad, and the fact that he became a Duke fan because of that. And although full disclosure, after I left, being from Roanoke, a guy named Sampson started playing for Virginia and he became a Wahoo fan. But it really touched me that he remembered that. And
he was young on a 3 off the back rim. We remind you that over on TNT, Buffalo and West Virginia coming down to the final seconds. For those of you who want to check out the end of that game, they are tied right now in the closing seconds over on TNT. Wayne Blackshear, the senior, with a little floater underneath for Louisville.
A bit of an enigma throughout his career, although has stepped up this year. Spiro, I said their leading 3-point shooter, averaging 10 points a game. Could be an X factor for them in this tournament.
Now, they were a team, the Cardinals, that had some holes even before the dismissal of Chris Jones. They desperately need Blackshear to play big.
Yeah, Russ Smith leaving last year was a huge gap, and that was the guy that Jones was supposed to be.
Rozier, that's a 3, got it.
And one thing Louisville will do, and they did changing in out time, they will extend pressure about 20% of the time during the course of the game.
Now, the question with Louisville has always been, can they score enough points? This is one of the top defensive teams in the country. No surprise, 6th in the NCAA in scoring defense, a staple of a Rick Pitino coach team.
Yeah, out of the ACC, if you could combine Louisville's defense with Notre Dame's offense, that you would have a Final Four team.
7 straight points for the Cardinals. This is a corner 3 from Souza. Offensive rebound, Diamantopoulos inside the young Greek national. Knocked out of bounds by Harrell. 6 seconds to shoot with just over 14 minutes left. 3-point Louisville lead on TBS.
Spiro.
A lot of people, Greg, talking about Buffalo going into the tournament. Very interesting Midwest part of the bracket there. Winner of that game takes on the winner of Maryland and Valparaiso in Columbus on Sunday.
Well, Bobby Hurley having a terrific year as a coach there. It took him a while to get into the coaching business. Was in horse racing actually for a while, like Rick Pitino, but decided to follow his dad, a great high school coach in the state of New Jersey. His brother, a coach as well. So no surprise he's sitting on the bench.
Just 6 seconds to shoot. This is Will Davis, Harrell on his back. Has to shoot, has no idea. Souza gets it up, somehow gets it to the rim. Hard to believe Davis didn't know the clock situation coming out of the timeout.
Yeah, Russell Turner not happy with his squad on that play. Not any sense of urgency.
7 straight points from Louisville. They've hit 4 straight shots at this end of the floor. Inadvertent trip. No whistle blown. Possession arrow favors the Anteaters as Louisville turns it over.
Rozier visibly upset with that non-call.
Mike Best will check into the game for UCI, the San Rafael, California native. Well, UCI, Mike came out, hit a couple of shots early, built that 8-4 lead, but since then 7 unanswered for the Cardinals. How does UCLA steady itself here over the next couple of minutes?
Well, again, that early lead was built on 3-point shooting.
This is Best.
But even though with the size inside, UC Irvine unable to get offensive rebounds to this point. So a quick start now, 3 of 10 on the game.
Here's the freshman Snyder. Only his 7th career start since taking over after the dismissal of Chris Jones. Snyder, tough floater over the 7'6" Njai. Nelson out of the fray. Nearly stolen from the back by Harrell. Njai has position against Onuaku.
No need to double team or go in on him, sink in on him in the zone. The zone can extend out a little bit to make sure that three-point shooters are covered.
Shot clock at 10. NJ, great position, puts it down on a pretty turnaround hook shot to cut it to 1.
I still think Rick Pitino would live with that all day long. Make them play 2-point basketball instead of 3-point basketball.
First points for the Anteaters in nearly 4 minutes. And that ends a 7-0 Louisville run. Snyder. Rozier on the corner 3. Too strong. Off the hands of NJ, taken by Nelson. UC Irvine, a team that started the year 7-8, stumbled out of the gates, but won 14 of their last 18 down the stretch. Finished at 21-12.
Harrell just doing all he can to front him and keep him out of the lane.
Nelson lobs inside to the junior. Best magical finish. Reverse over the shoulder. High off glass, and the Anteaters back in front.
Well, that's the one thing Russell Turner said yesterday. The one thing that is a mid-major that we can put out there that very few other teams do is size, and they have ridiculous size along the front line at both the 4 and the 5.
Harrell underneath, bothered by NJ.
He was looking for NJ and not the finish.
Blocking foul charge to Best, bumping Snyder on the drive. So Louisville, after that 7-0 run, suddenly another one of their little droughts. 3+ minutes. NJ the hook, and then Best resourcefulness to give the Anteaters a 1-point lead. Let's take a look now behind the stats presented by LG. We talked about UCI coming into the tournament red hot. 14 of their last 18 games that they won. Auto bid out of the Big West Conference. Louisville Cardinals a little bit below the ceiling that they had set. 30+ wins each of the last 3 years. Went 24-8 this year.
But that speaks to the program, Spiro. I mean, consider that record. How many Division I schools would love to have that record? You know, and for Louisville, it's an average so-so year.
Just completed their first season in the ACC here with an at-large bid after finishing 4th in the conference in the regular season. Harrell misfires on the mid-range shot. Rick Pitino barking at him as he backpedals up the floor. Doesn't look like Pitino's happy.
No, and then, you know what, Harrell, if he's going to settle for that shot, that plays right into the Anteaters' hands. And you know, NJ did both things. He forced to take that jump shot and then got the rebound.
Best hands to right. Now Young resets 10 to shoot. You see NJ fronted by Anas Mahmoud, who's come into the game. That's right. Buries the 3. Aaron Wright, the Cerritos, California native, UCI with 7 straight points.
Several good three-point shooters, excellent three-point shooters, right at 40%.
Wright, the junior. And UCI, Mike, you don't get the sense that they are shaky in this, the biggest moment of their collegiate careers. That's a corner 3. Halfway in, popped out from Terry Rozier. And back comes Young and the Anteaters. Left-handed floater, off the rim, no good. Jaron Martin unable to hit.
No, you're right, Spiro. I mean, they look like they've come in and just a lot of teams would be wide-eyed at their first appearance, but this team very businesslike.
Wayne Blackshear, who's been such an enigma for the Cardinals over the years. Mike, you've watched him play up close for the last 4 years. If he can get his game going consistently, they're tough. Mamadou Ndiaye coming with the thunder.
I'll tell you what, he is not. We were worried about his stamina. He's playing in shorter spurts, but he's not laboring at all out there. Not breathing very heavy, getting him down the floor.
Blackshear's floater too strong. This is Rozier. Stops on a dime. Ndiaye clears.
And never even leaves the floor to get that rebound.
What a pass up the floor through the hands of Best. As UCI turns it over. He has a wingspan of 8 feet 3 inches. He can touch the rim without jumping.
Yeah, and barely has to jump to dunk. And Mamu just playing him. They're trying to front and get some help from behind. And look at him getting the crowd going.
A young man who has overcome so much, such an incredible story. Beloved member of the community down in Southern California at Orange County and Irvine.
Only a sophomore too, and because he was limited with injury, I mean, Russell Turner, having spent some time up in the next level, thinks that he's got a great future, really a hunger to learn.
That's Jalen Johnson, the freshman, on the nifty little turnaround, the Michigan native. 1 point Anteaters lead with just under 9 minutes left in this first half.
Johnson, not a lot of playing time during the course of the season, but in this game, because of Irvine's size, they're going to need him.
Well, here's Davis, who's been quiet so far. Right on cue, gets the friendly bounce. Pretty hook shot on the spin. 3 point Anteaters lead.
And whoever Mahmoud is guarding, that's who they're going to. And Rick Pitino not happy with his defensive effort the last couple of possessions.
Louisville, if you've just joined us, 7 of 18 shooting. 2 of 5 from 3. Traveling violation and another Cardinals turnover. UC Irvine up 3 on TBS. Well, here in Seattle, it's been a game of runs till this point. Your game summary, 3-point lead for UCI, who have hit their 5 of their last 6 shots. Louisville has struggled. They've missed 7 of their last 9. Mamadou Ndiaye starting to make his big presence felt underneath.
Yeah, early on, a block against Harrell, and then literally almost ran over one of the guards for Louisville, getting good low possession inside, and the finish, 4 points, 2 rebounds, and a block for him early on, Spiro.
Russell Turner, in our visit with him yesterday, acknowledged that when they brought Ndiaye in, there were a lot of people that doubted whether this kid, despite his size, could be a top-flight Division I player. Turner said he never had any doubt, and his vision, his confidence in the kid has really paid off, as the sophomore has been an integral part of this Anteaters team getting to the dance for the first time ever.
Let's say, Rick Pitino, we talked about this still being a very good defensive team, but the Anteaters 50% shooting coming in, a good confident start, which is what you really need in your first NCAA appearance.
Here's the Markopoulos. Markopoulos, step in middle, blocked inside. Nice defensive play underneath. The Markopoulos gets it back. Mahmoud on the initial block, and then poked away, stolen by Rozier. Whistle blown in the transition. Rozier fouled before the shot. Well, another look at the block by the freshman Mahmoud, the native of Cairo in Egypt.
Yeah, really nice play. Good timing on that. And
officials, Mike, are going to say offensive foul, and Rick Pitino can't believe it.
Really, they got together and it looked like Young established position and took one right on his chest.
So that is the second against Rozier, and then the Anteaters throw it away on the inbound.
And Rozier going over to having a little conversation with the official. I think he's a little
personal on Rozier, his first foul.
A little frustrating start for Terry Rozier, who is their leading scorer, 17 points a game, but only 1 of 4 to start the game. That a 3-point basket.
See the team foul situation, 3 on the Cardinals. 3-point Anteaters lead with just over 7 minutes left before halftime. Winner of this game advances to Sunday in the round of 32 to take on Northern Iowa. Rozier trying to shake Nelson. 3-point field goal from the corner from Blackshear is short. And UC Irvine controlling the glass. Tough runner, back of the rim, no good from Young, the junior. Blackshear the other way.
Well, as your power forward, Blackshear does have the ability to handle the ball and bring it out of the backcourt.
Montrezl Harrell, brief rest, will come back in. Jalen Johnson to the bench. And Mamadou Ndiaye quickly comes into match.
Harrell's probably thinking to himself, man, I was able to come back in with Ndiaye off the floor, and then all of a sudden there he is.
Louisville 7 of 19 from the field. Dangerous pass off the hands of Mahmoud. Turnover number 5 by the Cardinals.
Njai long enough to reach around from behind and poke the ball away.
Njai battling Mahmoud for the rebound. And a young freshman is whistled underneath for Louisville. Mike, what can you do? He's just so huge.
And the scary part is that as he goes along, when his conditioning catches up with his body and he can stay on the court for longer stretches, I mean, his numbers are really going to skyrocket.
We should point out, Anas Mahmoud is 7 feet tall next to Njai. Mike, you look like a guard.
But he's giving away, he's got to be giving away 80 pounds to him easy inside. And that's what every center does.
That was Mango Mathiang who you saw. He's just checked in as Mahmoud had to take a seat. Just picked up his second. Here comes Young. Across the paint. Tough shot. High archer on the floater. And the Anteaters lead at 5 points. Six minutes left, first half in Seattle.
Well, against the zone, and Louisville's still trying to screen across the top on the guards to get their guys shots.
Rozier trying to take on Njai. Blackshear gets him a fresh 35. Rozier again, right at Njai, and he's headed to the free throw line. Fearless drive by Rozier, the sophomore.
Well, he is fearless, and he'll go at anybody at any time. And this is what you got to do against a shot blocker, go at his chest. Terrific finish.
Rozier, the 4th leading scorer in the ACC, better than 17 per game. All-conference second-team selection. Made an incredible scoring jump this season. 2nd biggest, in fact, in the ACC. Averaged just 7 a game last year.
The thing you like about him too, you like his toughness, Spiro, but he gives you 5 rebounds at that guard position at 6'1", and that's a huge boost for your team. And after those made free throws, and he stepped out of bounds.
Nelson stepped out. Blackshear and Snyder with a trap. And UCI turns it over.
Look, you cannot get caught in the corner here. You'll see the step out right there. You can't get caught in the corner against this zone. You have to get it in the middle of the floor.
Fight for the rebound. It's Davis clearing for the Anteaters. You saw Njai on the bench. 1 personal for the big center. As we come up on 5 minutes left, first half. Right over the shoulder. Outside Dimakopoulos. Hands off to Young. Sets the table. Davis. His putback attempt rolls in. 4 points for Will Davis. 4-point Anteaters lead.
Yeah, only his 4th field goal attempt of the game, so not many touches for him. He comes in at 13 points a game, but he is having a difficult time getting involved in the offense.
Big West Tournament MVP, first team all-conference. Russell Turner says he thinks he's the best player in the history of the program. Nice shot, top of the key. That was Wayne Blackshear. He's got 7. The seniors come to play today. The Chicago native cuts the deficit for Louisville to 2.
And let's see, this pressure usually catches up and starts to wear teams down. Maybe not so much in the first half, Spiro, but in the second half.
They left Young wide open. Young said he was bumped as Harrell came flying by him. That one sails out of bounds and goes back to the Cardinals. And now Souza will replace Young.
Young is capable of a big game. Had 24 points earlier this year against Long Beach State.
UCI will make another change. John Ryan will check in, a guy who has been out since Valentine's Day, a foot injury. Sidelined him since February the 14th. He started for Mamadou Njai when Njai missed a handful of games during the season.
When we were watching him yesterday, he did not look like he did much in their practice or shoot around, so we didn't know if we were going to see him.
Whistle blown on the inbounds play. 2 here with Njai on the bench. This is Rozier. Gets it back. Shadowed by Wright. Will reset to Blackshear. Snyder. Harrell inside. Powers down with 2. We are tied at 23.
He's just, I mean, he's the all-time leading dunker in Louisville history, and you know, it's saying a lot with Daryl Griffith having played there, and
that's right,
Purvis Ellison. But he's become much more than that in his career at Louisville.
3rd dunk for Harrell in this game already. He's got 6 points and 3 boards. Pitino wanted a foul on the screen as Ryan turns the basketball over. Turning, trying to find Nelson. Couldn't locate him. Rozier, pretty set up. Harold, vicious 2-handed dunk. We're tied at 23. All right, Greg, everyone in the state of Kansas, or at least most of them, hoping for that Wichita State-Kansas matchup in a round of 32 on Sunday, Mike, in the Midwest region.
Well, and Fred VanVleet trying to do all he can in that game. 27 so far for Wichita State. Yogi Ferrell with 19.
Mamadou Njai back onto the floor for UCI. He's played 10 minutes so far in this first half. Onuaku bobbles the catch. Rozier on a floater. Gets the friendly bounce. And Louisville retakes a 2-point lead.
And that's virtually any team, and that's when Njai's out on the floor, you have to, unless you're going to go right at him and take the body, you've got to shoot that floater over to the top.
This is Aaron Wright trying to break the press, goes all the way to the rim. Looked like was trying to find Njai on a lob. Wasn't prepared for it. Then Blackshear sneaking back. And just like that, 4-point lead for the Cardinals.
It allows them to set up the pressure. That's one of the first runouts that we've seen Louisville get in this game.
Wichita State and Indiana going right down to the finish. You can turn over to CBS, see the finish of that game right now.
I think there's maybe some blood on Rozier.
8 straight points for Louisville. Russell Turner making sure that Wright is okay. Cardinals have hit 4 straight shots. Mike, as you have watched them up close, they're so streaky offensively. And they're in the middle of another one of their good streaks. They've hit 4 straight shots.
Well, the thing they do, you know, about a quarter of their offense, a little bit less than that, is caused by turnovers and steals and getting out and running. And for the most part, UC Irvine has eliminated that.
Nelson, dangerous pass. Davis ran out of real estate, and another UCI turnover. 3 lead changes, 2 ties. Louisville by 4.
And a couple real shaky passes that time, that lobs that really had no chance. But at least if you're going to have a turnover against Louisville, it's better to have a dead ball turnover so you can get back and set up your defense, as opposed to what they did before when Louisville was able to get the run out.
Mike, we talked about the dismissal of Chris Jones. Now, losing him is hard enough, but the timing of it 2 weeks before the end of the regular season just compounded matters for Rick Pitino, and that's the man who replaced him, the freshman Quentin Snyder.
The key there, freshman, and you know, but Pitino said that he's really unflappable, doesn't no nerves at all. Stepped right in to be a freshman in that situation and be asked to run a ball club is not easy.
Today making his 7th start, first ever appearance, of course, in the tournament. Very quiet, incredibly quiet is what Rick Pitino said, but on the court he incredibly quiet is what Rick Pitino said, but on the court he is a young man who has been unflappable for the Cardinals. Njai, a 7'6" behemoth, just camping out underneath against Onuaku, and a foul against the Louisville Cardinals underneath. Reminder coming up, AT&T at the half. We'll send you to the studio, scores and highlights, all the latest NCAA tournament news, all coming up next on AT&T at the half.
Did you know, Spiro, when he catches him, he got a foul that time, but when he brings the ball down, he's no taller than anybody else out on the floor.
That time a shove in the back. It's against Onuaku, the 6'10" freshman, desperately trying to hold his ground, giving up 8 inches to Njai.
Yeah, you get that arm bar in there and extend, and that's an easy call to make. We talked about earlier in the first game about how officiating in the post can be difficult when it's physical, but there was really nobody around him, and the ref had a good look at it.
6th team foul against the Cardinals. Next one puts UCI in the bonus. Nelson on a deep three. That's good.
First three they've hit in a while, but a good way to go into halftime to build up some momentum.
First points for the Anteaters in 4 minutes and 15 seconds. They cut it to 4. Well, it took UCI 38 years to get here, but they are dancing for the first time ever, trying to capitalize on their moment. Onuaku misses on the floater. And now the Anteaters can hold for the final shot of this first half.
And important that they don't give any time for Louisville to answer. Try to run the clock down, get something, give yourself enough chance for an offensive rebound, but not another shot for the Cardinals.
Cardinals are out of fouls. Shot clock off, 10 seconds. Nelson against Harrell. One of the most rugged defenders in the ACC. Nelson blows by him, misses the tip. Davis puts it back home. And that is how this first half comes to an end in Seattle. 6 points, 4 boards for Davis. And this 13th-seeded UCI Irvine squad showing that they are not going anywhere.
Yeah, just what I said. You give yourself enough chance for a shot and an offensive rebound.
Well, Russell Turner so proud of how far this young man has come. Mamadou Ndiaye, the sophomore, born in Senegal, moved to the States just 3 short years ago at the age of 16.
I would think, you know, for Russell Turner that, you know, to get this game down about the 4-minute mark and have it a 2-point game or tied is about exactly what he's hoping for and talked about right there.
It's Wayne Blackshear on a 3. Blackshear played well in the first half. 4 of 8 hit a 3 and led the Cardinals with 9 points. There comes Luke Nelson. Outside to Young, and UCI resets.
UCI 4 of 9 from 3 in that first 20 minutes, and they're going to need to either replicate that or improve on that.
Ndiaye camping out underneath. Knocked out of his hands. Davis, the loose ball, puts it in. And we are tied at 30. Anteaters have been down by as many as 7. What a setup as Ndiaye, getting his money's worth, will send Harrell to the free throw line. Yeah, and Harrell whispers something in the big fella's ears as he makes his way to the free throw line.
Well, you can watch this. I mean, this is a hard foul, and Harrell not a good free throw shooter. And Ndiaye just kind of took a step or two toward him to hover over him, and Harrell wasn't going to take any of it.
Well, you come from an era where that was the norm. Nothing wrong with that. That's a good, clean, hard foul. As Harrell hits the first. So who's going to make the most shots? Who has more points in the second half? If your bracket's already busted, just play the Capital One NCAA Tournament Run Game at ncaa.com and in the March Madness Live app.
If any of the brackets are busted, I think everybody in the country should go get that app right now.
Scrambling after a historic day of 1-point games and upsets yesterday, 5 of them. And a wild first day of the round of 64 around the country. Winner of this game advances to Sunday in the round of 32. Northern Iowa awaits. The Panthers a winner earlier today here against Wyoming. The pass deflected. Nelson trying to set up his big man Dimakopoulos.
I just don't even want to say his name after you say it.
You got to give it one shot, right?
Dimakopoulos. There, I said it. I got it in.
That's great. That was great.
Do I get dual citizenship now?
We got a passport hot off the presses for you. There's the young Greek national. Looks like Onuaku's hurt. Davis the rebound. Outside Souza, deep 3. That's good.
Well, Onuaku went down hard, and he is running very gingerly back before Rick Pitino going to get him out. He's getting Matthew back in the game.
Second 3 for Souza, the senior. And the Anteaters back.
The last thing that Louisville can afford right now is to lose one of their bigs against this UC Irvine team.
Onuaku, the freshman, 6 in the ACC in blocks, has given them a good rebounding presence over their last 8 or so games entering the tournament. Here's Harrell, preseason All-America. Now the freshman Snyder. Blackshear from deep.
Well, good look. That zone is really packed in tight for the Anteaters. They're going to make Louisville. They're going to test them from the perimeter. We talked about not a great three-point shooting team. Blackshear the most reliable.
Mathiang defending. Outside another three. Souza rims out. Rebound cleared by Mathiang, the redshirt sophomore from Australia. Here's Rozier. 3 of 7 so far, 8 points. Snyder from the outside. That's a triple.
He said 27% from 3 for him, but you almost have to take those numbers and put them aside and look at what he's done over his last 9 starts. Really elevated his scoring. His assist numbers are up as well.
Snyder, a local kid out of Louisville. Only his 7th career start. Now the freshman has 8 points for Rick Pitino.
He will take that shot. He's made some threes this year.
Anteaters using up as much clock as they can. Spinning fade. Rims out from Dimakopoulos. Rebound Snyder. Just past the 17-minute mark, second half. Blackshear from 3. A little bit short. Battle for the rebound and a loose ball foul against Harrell. And that will be his first. Here was the injury. You see Onwaku might take a hard fall. My goodness.
And his feet, it wasn't from far up. And, he wasn't flipping over anybody, but his feet just went right out from underneath him, and his backbone was the first thing that hit.
Well, it looks like he's okay as we watch him seated on the bench. Just trying to gather himself as Davis climbs the ladder. What a perfect pass from Young. 10 points for Davis. We are tied at 35.
And Rick Pitino pointing at Wayne Blackshear. No, Blackshear had no idea where the ball was, and they just threw it right over the top of him. You've got to have awareness of where the ball is and your man.
Davis, the Sacramento native, who is 1/4 Japanese on his mother's side, starting to come alive after the quiet start. Souza takes the loose ball. UCI trying to retake the lead. Anteaters trying to pull the upset as a 13 seed in the East. First ever appearance in the NCAA tournament. Davis under control and a pushing foul underneath against the Cardinals, sending the young Greek national to the deck. It's on Harrell, his second. UCI tying it at 35. They'll have it when we come back.
Including Luke Nelson, who took his history final this morning at 8 a.m. I don't know about you, Mike. When you were at Duke, did you ever take a final and play in the tournament in the same day?
No, that would be a no, Jamie. And sometimes we were in break during that time, but I can't imagine the stress of that.
Traveling violation, waves off the bucket from Njai. Russell Turner can't believe the call.
Well, in this era, look at the turnovers. Mounting right there, with computers and being able to go online, much easier to do that, but I still wouldn't want that hanging over my head.
Mathiang, good look at it. I saw some of the UC Irvine fans saying that there was an interference on the play, but the basket counts, and the Cardinals retake the 2-point lead.
That's the thing. I mean, you look at this up to that point in the first 5 minutes of this half. Every shot that Louisville had taken was a 3. They had gotten nothing in the paint. That's the first paint points of this half.
Davis patented a little step away hook shot short. And the rebound taken by Rozier.
He's looking to be a little bit more aggressive, as you had alluded to.
Nelson trying to dive for it. Deflected out of bounds. And it will be Louisville basketball. Mathiang, that last bucket for the Cardinals. As you take another look at Nelson giving up his body. Mathiang, that game winner against Virginia in the regular season finale in the ACC. Aaron Wright, the junior from Cerritos, California, back into the game. And Nelson takes a rest. Louisville 17th in the country in the final AP poll. They are the 4 seed in the East region. 24-8 on the season. Trying to get to the round of 32 to take on Northern Iowa. Quentin Snyder, second field goal for the freshman, Mike, since halftime.
And some more full court pressure. Let's see if UC Irvine handles it a little bit better.
Here comes Young to the wreck, going glass.
I would say I love that attitude. You attack the press to score, not to just get it over half court. They did a good job of throwing over the top.
Right to steal. Pass too far in front of Young, who stepped out of bounds on the baseline. Missed opportunity for the Anteaters.
Well, this is a good throw out over the top, and you really don't mind this take because you got Njai right there to clean up anything if you miss. But that last one, they just tried to be a little bit too aggressive on the long pass.
Well, anyone who looked at this game on paper and thought that it would be a one-sided affair may be surprised. But this is a Louisville team that has struggled despite their record. And UC Irvine just doesn't look like they are intimidated, Mike, in the least. They feel like they belong, and they could very well win this game and move on.
I wouldn't consider it a massive upset. I mean, I really wouldn't. You know, it would certainly get everybody's attention. That's more because of Louisville's reputation, but this, because of what they've gone through, not a vintage team for them.
Mathiang, excellent defense against Njai. About as well as Rick Pitino could hope for. 10 to shoot. This is Souza, couple of threes. Gets it back. Lobs to Njai. 3 to shoot. Turnaround fade. Mathiang was all over him. Rozier, untouched to the wreck. Pretty finger roll finish. 4-point Cardinals lead.
Nobody stopped the drive up the floor, and the thing that does with his speed, he was able to get to the rim before Njai could ever get into the picture.
Rozier, the sophomore out of Cleveland, had 20 points in the loss to Carolina in the ACC tournament. Offensive foul against Aaron Wright.
Well, you see the look, and there's Njai trailing the play, and there's nobody in front of the rim, and it's a lot easier. At least you can see the rim when he's not in the picture.
Well, if Louisville's going to make a deep run, they're going to need a lot more where that came from Terry Rozier.
Yeah, and the guy who it's really affected their size is Harrell. He has been very quiet in this game. He's a couple of he had a couple of dunks early, but not much since then.
Here's David Levitch, who's come into the game for Rick Pitino, a sophomore, Kentucky native. Blackshear on a 3, and a loose ball foul charged to UCI. Whistle blown on Wright, and it's his second.
This has been a fast, cleanly played game. There are only 3 free throw attempts combined for both teams so far.
Third team foul on the Anteaters. Turnover. Nice little hesitation, dribble by Young, misses the floater. Njai coming with the heat.
It's just his presence, if you're mesmerized by it, and he slaps the floor.
6 points for the Senegalese behemoth. Crowd responding to Njai smacking the deck with both of his hands. Here comes Rozier. 10 to shoot. Blackshear open from deep. That's good. 5-point lead for the Cardinals. Blackshear's got 14.
And, because of being shorthanded, Levitch having to get some minutes in this game, pressing up. A good play, and Blackshear getting a very good look at a 3.
This is Jaron Martin, the sophomore, another California kid. Second on the team in threes behind Souza, entering this tournament. Guarded by Rozier. Still 12 to shoot. Wright. Little hesitation fake. Got Mathiang to bite. And it will be Aaron Wright to the free throw line when we come back. Nothing the Cardinals can do about that. Njai cleaning it up, and Wayne Blackshear, who has been on target. 5-point Louisville lead. Mike?
4-0 going forward.
Perfect.
See if Duke can keep that going this evening, and Louisville here today. everybody's kind of locked in on that number 5, number 12 upset.
Well, this summer, the last ship returns for another blockbuster season. New episodes premiere this June on TNT. Aaron Wright, junior, California native, only a 56% free throw shooter. Looked pretty good on those two.
Well, it was critical time. It seemed like the momentum was starting to shift toward Louisville. So UC Irvine needs a couple stops and positive possessions to stay in this game.
Rick Pitino, 20th appearance in the NCAA tournament. We asked him yesterday if he's just as excited as his first time, and he says, you know what, I'm more excited now than I've ever been because I know that window's closing. Trying to get this team to Sunday. As that little floater from Levitch, the sophomore, a little bit off target, and the whistle blown here against UC Irvine, and Aaron Wright can't believe it. That's his third personal.
Well, the floater, and Levitch does a nice job of staying after this one. Then Wright just kind of punched it up in the air.
So Wright will sit. Souza comes back in, the senior. And Rick Pitino will counter with his freshman, Quentin Snyder.
All 5 of Souza's shots, 3s in this game. He's hit 2.
Harold the inbounder. Outside to Blackshear. You see the team foul situation as we come up on 10 minutes to play.
They didn't even get close to the penalty in the first half.
Blackshear. The tip up, no good. Mathiang has been very active around the rim. Doesn't get the roll. UCI at least proving to themselves that they belong. Can they pull the upset here in Seattle?
And Rick Pitino knows the longer they hang around, the more dangerous they become as this game becomes shorter.
Njai, pretty spin, finishes right over the top of Mathiang.
Pretty solid low post move that time, and Rick Pitino wants a timeout.
Thanks, Spiro. Well, the message from Coach Turner to the UC Irvine team right there, the confidence unwavering. He says they can't score on us in the half court. This is a rebounding game. Go and do it. Spiro.
Jamie, Louisville has missed 4 of their last 5 shots, just 5 of 14 in the half, as Snyder had it poked away from the back. Loose ball fielded by Rozier. 10 to shoot. A freshman guarded by Young. Rozier finding some daylight. Misses everything on a long 3, and it goes back to the Anteaters.
Yeah, not even close on that shot. And boy, the perimeter of that zone and their defense for the Anteaters has got to be, you can take chances on just about everything knowing what you have behind you. And they have had success throwing over the pressure. Louisville right now, to get a little space in this game, they're going to have to be efficient offensively, which is going to allow them to get into their press.
Nelson unable to locate Njai. Hard to underthrow a guy who's 7'6".
I was going to say, you either throw it out of bounds or he gets it.
We saw 4 ties, 4 lead changes. Louisville's biggest lead, 7. Anteaters have led by as many as 5. Harrell. Good look from the free throw line. Nelson clears.
And most of his shots he's only 3 of 8 from the floor, and most of those have been free throw line jumpers. He hasn't been able to get close to the rim except for a couple of dunks.
Young from deep. Rebound Blackshear.
For UC Irvine, you're now, and you got 8 minutes left in the game that you got a real chance. Those 3s are going to be a little tougher to make.
Snyder's 3 rims off. Harrell had the rebound right through his hands. Anteaters control the pass from Young, deflected. Blackshear the steal. Rozier one-on-one, beats his man to the rim and lays it up and in. Yeah, 3-point Cardinals lead.
And Russell Turner just shaking his head right there. And those are the plays that kill you against Louisville. You make those 1 or 2 mistakes, and they turn them into points, and they're going to call it. That was almost a 5-second call.
First points for Louisville in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. They're up 3, 8:02 left. Louisville Cardinals fans certainly hoping that the 4th seed is not an omen of what's to come here over the final 8 and change. This is a gritty team, physical, one of the top defending teams in the country. Right now getting their money's worth from UC Irvine, who is in the dance for the first time ever, if you've just joined us. Spiro Ditas, Mike Jaminski, Jamie Maggio, the rest of our TBS crew, our producer Ryan Galvin, Chris Fenson, our director. This is Souza. Still plenty of time to shoot. 10 on the 35. Njai camping out, turns and easily gets the deuce.
It's amazing how small. I mean, Blackshear was behind him and he almost disappeared. But I think that, you know, Rick Pitino, the thought being, all right, we're gonna cover out on your three-point shooters, which they have been doing.
Snyder gets it back. Boy, broken play, but the freshman able to finish. Little floater pushes their lead back to 3. Souza, Young, Nelson, Davis, and Njai for the Anteaters. Rozier, Snyder, Harrell, Blackshear, and Mathiang for Rick Pitino and the Cardinals. This is Young. Now to Davis. 10 to shoot. Njai calling for it. Mathiang, magnificent defensive play.
Second time, Spiro, he's been able to front Njai and get up and get a deflection on a lob.
13th turnover by the Anteaters. This Louisville defense, 6th in the country in defensive efficiency. Showing you why here down the stretch. Mathiang trying to save it. Throws it out of bounds. It goes back to the Anteaters when we come back. All right, Greg, what a season it's been for Maryland. Trying to survive. Very few cakewalks, Mike Jaminski, so far for the high seeds.
Not at all.
In this NCAA tournament.
Huge lift off the bench for Nickens. All 4 of his baskets threes.
Well, if you've just joined us, Louisville has led by as many as 7, 4th seed in the East. 24-8 at-large bid out of the ACC. Tournament regulars, their 41st tournament. This is Njai! Another ferocious finish for the 7'6" monster.
12 points, 6 of 8 shooting from him. You expect a high percentage, but I've been impressed with his ability to stay on the floor and his conditioning in this game, Spiro.
Njai with 8 of the Anteaters' last 10 points as the big fella coming alive. Snyder.
He's been carrying Louisville.
Rick Pitino called his young freshman unflappable. Only his 7th career start. He's got 14 points for the Cardinals, up 3.
He's been getting into the zone and getting right below the free throw line, shooting the little floaters.
This is Alex Young from Phoenix, Oregon. Little town up here in the Pacific Northwest. Shot clock down to single digits. Njai double team. Mathiang and Harrell. Outside, Davis. Little head fake. Creates some space. Beats the 35. High arching shot. Davis with a dozen. 1-point game.
Well, that's the first time really that we've seen the double in on Njai down in the low post, and that opens some things up for Davis up top.
And a contingent from Southern California making some noise here in Seattle. Blackshear, the air ball. Rebound, UCI. They can retake the lead right here.
That wasn't a block, but it might as well have been a block by Njai at that time. His presence forced that shot to go long.
Davis. Nelson. First lead for the Anteaters since the 18:30 mark of the second half.
What did I say about getting it down to a 4-point game? Russell Turner, if he would have gone to him before the game and said, here's where we are with 4 minutes to go, sign me up right now.
UCI has hit 4 straight shots. What does Louisville have for the answer? Blackshear spins to the cup, contact, somehow finishes, and he will step to the free throw line. Incredible play, absorbing contact. 16 for Blackshear. Luke Nelson, the sophomore, giving him the lead. Short-lived as Blackshear heading to the free throw line. Louisville by 1 on TBS. Also, you can watch live games on your Amazon Fire HD, Windows, or other connected device with NCAA March Madness Live. Watch right now at ncaa.com/March Madness or download the app today.
You know, Spiro Njai comes in averaging 19 minutes a game, and I say that, we talked about the conditioning. He's already played 26 minutes, but now in this last 3, there are going to be a lot of stoppages of play, so I think they're going to be able to keep him out on the floor a little bit longer.
Well, how good has Blackshear been? 17 points, 7 rebounds. The senior with one of his best career games, certainly when you consider the stakes in this round of 64 matchup. 4 ties, 7 lead changes as Snyder is whistled for the foul. That's his first.
In a few of these possessions, they've really lifted Njai out onto the floor, and that really creates a lot of space. 1 for Davis to work inside, but 2 for driving lanes.
Only the 4th team foul against Louisville. Inbound to Njai, defended by Mathiang. This is strong off glass.
Talk about
can't play defense much better than Mathiang has.
No, he's really battled him. He's been the most effective guy they've had against him. When you talk about the automatic outlet on an inbounds pass, all you have to do is throw it up to him at the end if the clock is running down.
Snyder gets it to Blackshear. Snyder, by the way, career high today, 14 points. How about the freshman coming up in an enormous spot for Rick Pitino? Shot clock down to 8. Snyder against Wright. Finds a spot. Contact, no call. Rebound cleared by Young. Anteaters down 2. Right from the corner. Njai whistled for the loose ball foul, knocking Rozier to the deck, and that is number 4 on Njai.
And that was an unnecessary foul by Njai. The ball bounced over his head, and he just basically grabbed Rozier. You know, you got no shot of getting that one. You've got to save those fouls.
Any thought here to pulling him maybe for 30 seconds, Mike, or you just leave him in the game?
Yeah, I maybe go offense for defense in that situation with him.
Well, Russell Turner entrusting his big man to avoid that 5th and final foul. Here comes Blackshear. Pass right through the hands of Mathiang. Young the steal. To the rack. Finger roll, no. The tip, no. Second putback is good. Davis. We are tied at 53. Timeout taken by Rick Pitino. 14 for Davis.
And where were all the white jerseys in the situation? A great putback on the break.
So 1:56 to play. UC Irvine in their first ever NCAA tournament. Mike, they're right there. Biggest key for them as they try to pull the upset.
Wow, they got to defend without fouling. They've really got to lock in on Snyder and keep him out of the lane, and also keep aware of where Blackshear is out on the perimeter.
Blackshear 17 points to lead all scorers. $1:40 left. 13 on the 35. This is the freshman Snyder. Blackshear bottled up by Wright. Rises, misses, Njai clears.
See, I mean, they're using Mathiang as a screener because they know that Njai is sitting back in the lane, so it's getting guys open shots, but they just didn't knock it down that time. I guess against this defense, I think you have to take the first best shot. You can't count on getting something at the end of the clock.
Nelson, one-on-one with Harrell. Here he comes down the paint, gets the floater. UCI back in front. Ten points for the sophomore Nelson out of England, and the Anteaters can taste it.
Well, look, they had Harrell guarding him, so he knew he could get him off the bounce. And then again, the board coverage, both guys, Mathiang comes over, and if there's a miss, Njai is right there to gobble it up.
Nelson, the young man who took a final exam earlier this morning here at the team hotel at 8 o'clock local time. Talk about a tough day. And now Rick Pitino, the Hall of Fame coach, in a chess match back and forth with Russell Turner, trying to come up with the answer for the Cardinals.
If they hold on and win this game, Russell Turner may have taken finals on Sunday.
No points for Louisville in the last 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Harrell. 50 seconds. This is Rozier. Blackshear around Njai and ties it at 55. Incredible. 19 for Blackshear. The senior so slippery, weaving his way through traffic, going glass to tie it at 55.
Hasn't had a great shooting game, but going right through Njai to play and make that shot. Terrific drive, just sneaking around him. Really crafty, good board coverage by Harrell on the other side. And they've got enough time now, Spiro, also where they can, there's 7 seconds between the shot and the game clock, so they know that they're going to have the last opportunity to have the ball.
Louisville in the bonus on the next whistle against the Anteaters. Another look at Blackshear, who has developed a bit of a reputation as a guy, Mike, who has faltered at the end of seasons in his career. But boy, one of the biggest games that he has played. And if they win, he will be the main reason why they'll advance to the round of 32. And there is the Anteater, the mascot, sitting on his hands here for the final 42.4.
Right, you want to defend without fouling in this situation to get the ball back.
Another thing to keep in mind, Louisville just 14 fouls, Mike, so they have a couple to give here with 40 seconds left.
But you don't really want to do that because that resets the shot clock, so you take away that advantage of having some time to work with.
6 ties, 8 lead changes, as this one goes down to the last second. Nelson trying to locate Njai. 10 to shoot. Nelson against Harrell. Deep 3. Fight for the rebound. The freshman Snyder gets to it. And a foul called. And that will put the freshman at the free throw line for a 1-and-1. What a turn of events. And Nelson firing, Mike, with about 5 to shoot. He was 3-4 feet beyond the arc.
That was way too early. I mean, you get plenty of time. You want to get something going to the rim in that situation, and he had time to get into the lane. That was a deep 3, and then the terrific hustle by Snyder to track it down.
First trip to the free throw line today for the Louisville native. 59% of the season.
Remember, one-on-one, UCI's got to block out here.
One-point Louisville lead. The Cardinals just 12 points in the last 11 minutes. A program just 2 years removed from a national championship. Trying to get to Sunday here in Seattle. Rick Pitino taking a timeout as the freshman builds on his new career high of 16 points. The Anteaters down to the final 8.9 on TBS. Russell Turner, that final timeout huddle. Mike, what do you do here with 8.9 left?
Well, the decision you make is, do you go for the win, take the 3 and go for the win and walk out of here? Or do you go the more conventional route, try to extend the game into overtime? If that's what you want to do, then I want to give the ball to Nelson. He's hit that nice floater. Get something going to the rim because you got 7-6 in there for a chance at an offensive rebound.
Early enough.
Early enough.
You don't want to wait to that last second.
They got to go. I mean, this is a pass up the floor, and Louisville's not going to let them get the ball in easily.
8.9 seconds left. The Anteaters trying to write their own little chapter in the lore of March Madness. Here comes the native of England, Luke Nelson. Told you the Cardinals have a couple of fouls to give. That is their 5th team foul. Still one more to give. You see Pitino telling them to take it.
Yeah, and you just have to make sure. You may have to make sure that they're not shooting, but they're just probably not going to be able to waste another second or two.
UCI has 1 timeout left. Rozier will nearly come up with the steal. Throws it off the foot of his teammate. Blackshear has it. And the Louisville Cardinals will escape with a 2-point win.
Well, and Russell Turner was incensed. I mean, he shook hands with Rick Pitino, but he was very upset about that non-call at the end of the game.
A sigh of relief for the Cardinals as they survive and advance to Sunday's round of 32. And for the Anteaters from UC Irvine, agony as their first ever trip to the NCAA tournament ends in a 2-point loss.